We are live. Ladies
Five,
and gentlemen.
4, 3, 2.
There it is.
Coming to you from the Poorly Painted Studios in Cumming, Georgia, this is the Chuck and Z Show. And
We
now,
gotta get it into
it's Chuck and Z.
I like it.
That's true. That's true.
What up, everybody? Welcome to
What's
the
happening?
Z Show. Of course, I'm
I'll let you.
Chaos.
How are you?
Miss Sharon. And you can see we've got a little bit of a different presentation today. To the left of me are the badasses from 2LANELIFE, Gaylin, Lance, and Josh. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate the invite.
Yeah, it's great to be invited. It's kind of weird though for us because this is our brand new studio and you guys are showing it before we are.
Wow. We're honored.
It's beautiful.
It looks really, really sweet.
We don't
I have to
often get
thank Chuck and Josh. They spent the last few hours trying to get things set up. We're not set up the way we want to be set up, but hey, you guys did it.
Gets the job done, dude. Enough to have a good chat.
Well, first of all, the studio looks great. I mean, that is an awesome setup you got there. I mean, the brick wall, the way you've got it set up. I see all the alcohol in the back. Of course, I got mine right down in front, so it's a little bit easier to grab. But I see you back there. But it looks great. And yeah, one of the cool things about doing podcasting is it looks like we kind of just pop on and start talking, and it's no big deal. But it is always chaos right before you start the podcast, which is where producer Sharon got her nickname Producer Chaos from.
Producer Prey goes well. That's what I call it.
Yeah, but Josh and I we spent quite a while trying to get it worked out.
Yeah, I'm just glad the camera's
stepping outside of your
zoomed in like
typical
it is.
comfort zone.
You'd be seeing some stuff.
I know. Yeah. Some chaos in the background.
Yeah, all good.
So tell us a little bit about the new studio you guys got there. I mean, like I said, it looks sharp. So what brought on the new studio? Have you guys changed locations? What's up with that?
Yeah, so Thrash and Supply used to be in this location. We were just across the way in a different office, but it was really more of a warehouse, and we had a little office that we blew a wall out in and then created a studio, which was also Josh's office, and then Lance and I shared an office. And once the opportunity came up where they moved out, they're growing. So they're in a building out in Moore Park, California. We were still in Canoga, California, which is kind of a mecca for Southern California riding. People can get down to Malibu Pier. They can get to Neptune's Net. They can get to the Rock Store. It's very close. All these rides around here in the canyons are great. So we decided to bite the bullet and move two companies into a little bit bigger office space, podcast space, a little less warehouse space. So we're kind of dealing with that, but super excited. We kind of wanted this bar feel. We're not completely done. We've got some professional lighting that's going to be coming in. We'll get our camera stationary, mics done. But we thought for you guys, if we could get something, kind of special, which is special to us. And like Lance said, I mean, it's the first time seeing it for people. Hopefully our folks will tune in as well and check out the new studio.
Yeah, that's awesome. So when are you guys going to debut your first live stream from the studio?
Do we have one Thursday?
We might do a janky one on Thursday,
Okay.
like just with our current setup.
Janky.
The lighting guys, we're trying to schedule that with them. And then I just have some things to figure out how I want to wire it up because, part of redoing this compared to our old space is having it turnkey, right? So flip a couple switches, turn the cameras on, you're good, you're talking. Whereas our last place, we're always hooking up the camera last minute. There's always an issue with this, that, and the other. So just making it simple and effective,
And not only that, I mean, now we have a really nice size showroom with a rider's lounge. And they'll have some coffee and cold brew, but tons of parts in there. And I saw it today. We're not 100% open, but there was 10 people in the showroom looking at stuff, stoked, buying stuff. And we're like, this is going to be insane because we got to do our trips. We got to plan our adventures. We got to man the show. We just hired a new guy, Paul, that's going to be awesome. He does the retail stuff. So we're kind of growing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
We're growing, man.
And when you guys say trips and adventures, you definitely mean trips and adventures. And you guys are everywhere. Like if you follow your social media, every time I go on there, you're like in a different state in front of some beautiful scenery. You guys do y'all just go, we're going to go, I don't know, 1,000 miles today and just take off? I mean, do y'all typically have some structure to when you guys go out and do these trips?
We'll have a region in mind, a specific destination in that region, but everything else is kind of, we've just found over the years that winging it's kind of the way to go.
We do wing it, but we have a sit down in November and we do a whole year on a calendar of where we're going, what we're going to do. Sometimes it changes in a trip here or there, but it's pretty much planned.
Yeah, I'd say we are somewhat business oriented where we want to have a plan for the year, but within that plan, it's flexible. And generally speaking, we hit 90% of the destinations that we plan in November. But the unique thing about what we do is, unless it's Sturgis or something like that, day one is kind of planned out. And then day 2, 3, 6, 5, whatever it is, we could be in a different place than we thought we were going to be.
That's the winged part.
That's what I mean.
That's what
During a trip,
Yeah,
That could
we
be
end
viewer
up doing
driven.
I was going to clarify that.
They view us on the road. They see us on the road and say, "Hey, you're close. You need to go check this out." But day one is generally we're headed the direction that we want to go. But there's been many times where we've diverted. I mean, we tried to get to Mount Lemon 3 different times. And
it took a couple of
it
years.
took 2 years to get there.
Got close, but no cigar.
Yeah, for sure.
But we had new adventures along the way, and that's why we switched,
Yeah, plans for that day, right?
Yeah, we like to live on the edge and chase the sun, and sometimes we catch it, and sometimes we don't.
Yeah. So I'm sure you guys have talked about this previously on your podcast, but like, how did 2LANELIFE come together? Like, did you guys know each other previously? Like, how did the group, come together to make it great?
Josh was editing, and he said, I want to do this thing. I got to find 2 old guys who know how to ride.
Yep.
And he found, that's.
I pitched the idea. I got shot down, but I found the dudes and we made it work.
I was like going with it. I was like, oh yeah, really? That's okay.
Oh shit.
He pitched it to Cycle Fanatics and Rob, and they said, "No dice, bro."
No, Gaylin and I have been riding together for 10 years. Our wives have known each other for 40 years.
Wow.
And I've been married 40 years, so I actually knew Gaylin's wife for 40 years as well.
How did you know her? That sounded a little weird.
Well, her and I used to date. I dated her and Laura.
I don't think so.
So we always had a good time. We'd go to work parties, and Gaylin and I would have some drinks and be laughing, and it was always a good time. And we said, hey, we should hang out. We didn't really hang out except for work parties. I mean, he had kids, I've been having kids, and it's like lives go separate ways. We went to a work party reunion, and he's like, hey, I'm riding my Harley around. I said, oh, you have a Harley? Next thing you know, we go for a breakfast ride.
Well, a lady by the name of Danielle said, hey, you guys should hook up with each other because you both ride Harleys. And we're like, what? You ride a Harley? What do you have? So
clarify the hook up with each other.
Yeah, hook up. I said that.
In today's day and age, hook up with each other means something a little bit different.
It's a little different, yeah. The kids had a whole different.
I like dudes. You like dudes.
We should hook up.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I cut you off.
So at the end of the day, we had a breakfast run planned, and we went to breakfast, and then it was like, well, man, let's go right up to Ojai, which is a town that's like maybe 50 miles from the breakfast spot.
Mm-hmm.
Rode up there and went home, and Lance never called again. Like, what the hell's going on, bro? Did I not ride well, or? But then we ended up, we were kind of this is 10, 12, 11 years ago, whatever. And it was, like, let's go down to the beach, and it's close to us. It's like 30 minutes. And okay, let's go up to Santa Barbara. So we just do what most people do out here, which is, or most riders. It's like, try to get out as much as you can, but typically you're not going far places. And then Lance and I were like, let's go find a place overnight somewhere. And then it became, I called him one day and I'm like, look, I drew a radius around 500 miles. We can do that really easily. Yeah. And we can do it on a Saturday and be home Sunday night. And that started putting us in small towns, across the Midwest here or the Western states here. And then we came back with these incredible stories. And just over the years, our families kept saying, you need to find a medium to tell it. And I think start a YouTube channel, and we're like, nah, I'm a banker. He's got his own business. But I left banking 4 years ago, and he was ready to kind of step in a little bit. We decided to start the channel, and here we sit 3.5 years later in a new store and a new studio.
Full-time gig.
We're blessed and faithful. But we did learn early on, and Josh was not part-time, he's here full-time for the last 3 years, that if we just go do a weekend ride, there's a lot of content that he has to edit. And then we've got the store working. It's like we can't leave every single week and go out. So let's go out for a week at a time, get 8 drops, 8 drops, and then we can stay in the showroom 3 weeks. And that's kind of been our model for about 3 years.
Okay. That's awesome.
So
you guys, go ahead.
It's the riding. I mean, now if it's like, hey, you want to run down to the beach or Neptune's Net, or it's like, can we do a 400-mile loop to get there? Because it's like, the going long rides now really means a lot for us riding. And it's like, for me to go somewhere 50 miles is like, do I even have to start my bike? Even though it's great if you have nothing better to do or you can't get out, you got to ride no matter what. But I like going on big trips.
What's funny though is this week we were supposed to go to the East Coast sometime around this time.
Okay.
We switched it up. Now we're doing a 2-day trip. We're leaving this Saturday, and it just feels like we're kind of riding down, just a nice little quick run. So it's changed over the years,
Well, there's a couple of spots on the East Coast that you guys need to come visit for sure. We definitely want to take you up to the Georgia mountains. I don't know if you've been up on the Dragon and all that, but if you haven't ridden on this, we need to go ride. There's some amazing roads, especially in the fall, around the North Georgia mountains. So when you guys get this way, let us know. Well,
I think if you're extending an offer, then what we should do is, here's what's kind of really cool is we reached out to Z early on based on the Litas, and we had her on a podcast a few months ago. We meet you guys at the 120th. Personally, we missed you a little bit, Sturgis, but here we sit now on your podcast, and if we didn't have this community, we wouldn't be talking about this. But let's connect in early November as we start setting the schedule, and maybe Atlanta's a place we need to get to.
And the cool thing about that, I don't know how many guest rooms you guys have, but since these two are hooking up, you can save some space.
Actually, it's these two.
I would love that. I mean, what we saw in North Carolina was insane. Just such beautiful scenery, so different than what we're used to in the West.
Yeah.
The riding was great. The people were amazing. You see that wherever you go, but it was unique.
Well, we did all back roads in Tennessee, North Carolina. We were in the very west of North Carolina. And Kentucky, it was just spectacular.
We spent a whole week with Letitia Klein.
Yeah.
She was a great tour guide, great friend, showed us a lot of stuff. Our wives loved that trip. That was definitely, we had perfect weather. What a great time.
Yeah, you guys are still, I'm still looking at clips from that trip. That looked like a really good time. And her bar, the dive, that looks
good. Yeah. Everyone's got to get to the dive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to close the loop on that, the invitation is definitely extended. And we do have enough rooms for you all to have your own room if you so choose to.
Yes.
If you choose to hook up, as the kids say, that's on you. We're not going to monitor or police that.
Well, it's interesting. We go we've been with like the thrashing guys and different people on our trips or laidlaws, and they'll get in, they'll have 10 guys or 5 guys, and they'll have like 2 rooms, and they share rooms. And we've always gotten our separate rooms because we're working so much and we're gone so much, and we're doing this. It's like, okay, you go to your own space at night and relax. It's just a lot nicer for us because we're 24/7 with each other.
That's so true.
Yeah.
What does that say? Bareback Mountain?
Brokeback.
Mountain?
Talking about hooking up and going
Yeah,
riding.
one thing leads to
We
another.
wouldn't have that comment on our.
Oh, we
What the
would.
hell's going on?
Josh knows.
Yeah, I just don't put them up on the screen.
Oh, I see.
Our folks are a little rowdy.
Sorry.
Now I know you all probably.
I've spent a fair amount of time in Atlanta, and it's always been mostly in Decatur, and I've been up for the Masters a couple times, and the people have genuinely been good to us. I actually went and saw the Super Bowl,
Okay.
and this was with the Tennessee Titans and the Rams,
Mm-hmm.
and it was an ice storm. And on the train in, they were about to shut it down, but there was a guy that was shining shoes, and one of our corporate offices was in San Francisco, and a guy that he's just a street vendor, but developed cards, just like a coffee cart, and is on your 10th shine, you got a free shine. And so we sent him a bunch of cards, and he sent us back how well that worked for him, but it was just that kind of give and take, and
Yeah.
just a great town.
I think I saw a Beatles drum head back there. That
Yeah.
looked awesome.
Yeah, right there.
So move that conversation to
Well, look,
squirrel.
it caught my eye, and I was like,
So
Yeah, I'm actually
I'm
a huge Beatles fan. I don't know if you can see it, but I have them tattooed on my arm too. I
awesome.
don't know. I grew up loving the music. It's funny because I really enjoyed it when I was younger for the melody, but then as I got older, it was the content of the songs that really spoke to me. Once my frontal cortex was fully developed and I could understand what they were talking about.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, I really love the Beatles. But that actually comes from I had Beatles Rock Band. I don't know if y'all ever heard of that. There was a video game for a while where you could play the Beatles songs. And my daughters loved playing it, and they would sing and play, and I had the drum set that went with it. And whenever it died, I just took the front off and hung it. Yeah. But so out of curiosity, we talked about your trips. I know that you guys sit down and you plan all of your trips out. What is the can't miss it this year? Like, what are the trips when you sit down every year, you're like, these are the spots that we definitely have to go to, and then we're going to plan around those.
Wow, that's a hard question.
I don't know
Well,
if we've talked about that.
So Sturgis is always a trip we have to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Because we love going there. We have to go there.
So
Right.
what we've kind of done is looked at pockets in the U.S. that we haven't really done, right? Like I wanted to do Canada since 2020, but we couldn't get across the borders. And we were able to get that done this year. And my partner to the right was not as happy about going. Just why do you want to go to Canada? And ended up being one of our most spectacular rides. But we kind of look at those holes in the state. Like last year, we got Florida done, right? We're trying to get Pennsylvania done. We've got we want to do a Liberty Bell tour, Civil War tour. There's also a group that we're trying to get together with, and I think we're getting close, right?
We're getting real
In
close.
Philadelphia, and it's an inner city group that runs horses. They've done it for 70 years, something like that.
Yeah, Fletcher Street
Fletcher
Riding
Street
Club.
Cowboys, which is an African American group that is taking the youth in and teaching them equine horse responsibilities and helping the inner street youth there, create something that's valuable for them as a learning. So we're trying to get together with them, and I think we'll get there. We're trying to get there this year. I think that's going to be a 2024.
So part of what he's getting at is this year, a lot of it is about the story. Maybe not quite as much in previous years about location. We're trying to get into
Wow.
storytelling, learn more about people, and while we're at it, hit some great roads.
So I
No,
mean,
that's
for-
not what I'm trying to.
That's not what
I'm-
you're saying.
I'm trying to go is there's pockets in the U.S. that we haven't hit,
Yeah.
and that's kind of where we'll start looking to fill those in.
So I'm going to mute my mic actually.
Oh gosh. No, but that's really cool. I like the concept of also like connecting with other people in the community and learning, like you said, Josh, about the story behind why they do what they do.
Yeah.
I think that speaks to just the general public, and they can kind of get an idea of other people in the community, in the moto community, but also not where they live, right? So I think that's awesome.
It's
Yeah,
this.
some of the-
Go ahead.
Some of the fun trips for me is when we've gone and stayed in a town like Seligman or Page, Arizona. We stay there a whole week and we go interview people. We sit and get to know them. We eat at their restaurant. We learn their family legacy, and we do these documentaries. And then we have these friends in these towns. But to answer your question about the trips, every trip we go on, we're always like, this was the greatest trip we've been on. But then the next one, we say the same thing. And the next one, we say the same thing. And yeah, there's spectacular places everywhere.
But we're also blessed, just like with you saying, come out and ride in Atlanta. We've got people across the country that are saying, like, have you done Arkansas? No, we haven't done that. Have you done, lower half of Tennessee? Have we done the upper half of Tennessee? So there's still places that have great riding that we need to get out to.
And one other thing, though, when you
Yeah.
do that, we've repeated a couple of areas, and it's always
Mhm.
great to get the new places and get those in. But I like to go back and do it again, because it's like if you watch a movie twice,
Yeah.
you're going to see different parts in that thing you didn't see the first time.
Yeah.
So you connect. You're always learning.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. Now I know you guys probably have more than one bike, right? But the bike that you mostly like to ride. It's one of the questions that we ask. Kind of this podcast, when we bring people on, it's usually they ride a motorcycle and then they do something else in addition to that. So one of the questions we always ask is, what do you ride? What for each one of you, what is your, I guess, since you probably have several bikes, what's your favorite bike right now?
So I don't have several bikes. I have a 2020 Road Glide Special. Used to have a couple Yamaha dirt bikes, but I don't have a car either, only my wife's car. So my bike's my transportation.
I only have one bike, 2021 Road Glide. Josh only has, well, he
I got
has a
2 bikes.
dirt bike and his,
Yeah.
you know.
So yeah, they're both on road glides. They've done many more miles than I have in their life, and we've all kind of found our way of building our bike, right? So I've ridden road glides, I've ridden street glides, like rentals, Eagle Riders. My thing behind picking a Road King was I'm not really a speaker guy. I don't really use the nav on the fairing, so I did a Road King with an FXRP fairing.
Mhm.
Super light front end, super nimble. I can still ride it how I want, just a little more me. And then I have a KTM EXC 350F for some enduro riding.
And I think what he mentioned too, I mean, we've been blessed to work with Eagle Rider. They sponsor us as well as Harley. And so we've been able to test ride and do miles and photo shoots. And we probably put 10 to 12,000 miles a year on Eagle Rider and Harleys as we go out and ride those things.
That is what I was getting at, actually.
Yeah.
Were you getting at that?
He's reading my mind.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah.
was going to say that's one of the things, fortunately you get to ride all kinds of bikes. As a matter of fact, I saw that y'all were riding the new CVOs a couple of weeks ago, and those are really nice looking bikes. And I saw that you guys were talking about on your last podcast how some people were, complaining about them, and I don't know. It's funny to me. I think every time something new comes out, there's always going to be those people that are like, that's different. I don't like it. I don't.
Yeah.
And they sound like that too.
Okay, yeah. So I have a character apparently that I do I call it a piss pirate. And basically it's that guy that's at bike night that has the right opinion on everything. And no matter what you've done with your bike, he's right and he knows better and he's going to tell you about it because he really overvalues his opinion a lot more than you do. And he always said, listen, man, why did you go with carbon fiber wheels? Don't you know if you hit a bump, those things are going to shatter? You just wasted your money, son. And it's like, okay, bro.
So it's called Piss Pirate.
I call them a piss pirate because they always are overdressed in, their logos and a bunch of stuff, and they smell like piss a lot.
I like that.
I call them piss pirates. I make a lot of people mad with that, but it's what it is. But yeah, anytime you have newfangled technology come along, people are going to resist it. I actually, it's funny. I was playing around with AI the other day.
Really?
Yeah, because I was trying to put a graphic together for the podcast, because I wanted to give you guys like a really nice graphic, and I was sitting around and I was thinking I was going to come up with something, and I was like, you know what, GTA, I bet those guys would look cool like in GTA style, right?
Yeah.
So I went in and I have this AI program that'll restyle things, and I put Josh in first. As a matter of fact, Sharon, will you show him Josh? I put Josh in, and it made him about what, 5% more handsome?
That's like Lake Louise.
That's
right?
at least 20% more
Lake
handsome.
Louise.
They did me well on that one.
Wow,
Yeah, I thought I was like, all right, this is looking promising.
Josh is a stud in that picture.
It worked out. This looked good. All right, so then I put Lance in. And I was like, damn.
Hell yeah. I'm getting some kind of a like forbidden what's the movie? No, like a movie, like movie vibes. Like a Clint Eastwood.
Oh, you're talking about like the good, the good, the bad, and the ugly vibes. Something like that.
Unforgiven.
Yeah. Forbidden fruit.
Yeah, I know, right?
I almost went there, but I was like, that's not the name of that movie.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I like that one. I thought that one looked really good too. And then before you show them the one for Gaylin, let's show them the picture I used for Gaylin. Look at that. I was like, that's going to look sharp in GTA. Beautiful. But let me show you what AI decided to do with your picture.
I hope you get it as big as that. Make it
AI
bigger.
AI decided to show me black Gaylin.
Well,
equally as good looking.
I'll have to say a couple things. Josh showed me this, and I'm like, I'm kind of feeling it. And I sent Z a message saying, hey, we should use this. And she's like, no, we're not going to do it. Chuck's he's going to go straight on this one. And I'm like, but I'm kind of feeling it. Like, I knew I had that in me, 100%. And I'm going to use it as a post here probably tomorrow. I
don't know if that's going to go well.
It won't?
Yeah, it will.
Why? I mean,
I think it'll go well.
You got to have both pictures, though.
Do you have the one of Z?
Yeah, I don't have hers on here, but I'll get that one for her and have her post it as well. But that's the thing. It was an equal opportunity, get the race wrong AI in that whenever we put Z in, it keeps making her white. Like I put her in for the Barbie filter, just white as can be. I mean, whiter than Barbie. She was that white.
But how hilarious is that?
No, it's
so
good.
Funny.
When I first showed it to Josh came up with a whole backstory for Black Gaylin. How'd it go, Josh?
You know what? I already forget. It just came off the hook. Let me look it up.
I think he was like,
said that was Gaylin's.
He's like Mr. T's socially unaccepted.
Yeah.
I said Mr. T, Phil.
It looks like Mr. T's younger brother who got picked on growing up, but became socially accepted when he began to pursue his passion of traveling the country on motorcycles.
He had a whole
backstory.
Storylines
over here.
All right, you can take Black Gaylin down.
I love it.
Why? Let's leave that up the whole time. We can talk around it.
I swear, I would love the next time you guys do a podcast to see that poster right behind you on the wall. Nobody would even know what it was.
That'd be funny. Let's just put that picture on top of Gaylin as we do this podcast.
Right? Can we get it to move?
Oh, can you do that?
No.
Oh yeah, I can do it.
Oh.
Yeah.
But what's his name though?
I don't know. What did we come up with the name for Black Gaylin? G-Man? G-Man.
name's
Love it.
already G man.
I'm
So it just
already
kind of
G,
fits.
man, so it all works.
It works. It flows.
Hey, is that forbidden fruit? I mean, I gotta know.
I think I don't mind if you want to. Like again, I'm not responsible for it. AI did it. AI put it up there. So
They are
Right.
coming to spend the night at some point.
all right, they're married men, y'all.
Right.
So one thing, Sharon over
Not,
here.
not in AI format.
Yeah.
Sharon will get too excited. Y'all be careful with that kind of talk.
Oh, good Lord.
I'm a,
AI can AI anywhere.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm actually. I need a drink.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm gonna grab. Y'all have a drink over there? I'm gonna grab one real quick.
Get one. Go for
Yeah,
it.
okay, go ahead.
get one.
Actually,
right.
I have a question for you guys, actually, if that's okay.
Producer Chaos and from the corner.
What's up? So as you've done a lot of your traveling and you've really gotten to meet so many people across the country, what is something that's been really surprising to you that you've realized that you weren't expecting?
The first thing that comes to mind, especially in relation to our trip in Kentucky, where it just really stood out was in opposite from where we're from, right? We go in the Midwest, we go in all these other states. If you so much as make eye contact with someone or smile, you're probably talking to them for 5 minutes in a good way, right? And then sometimes we'll get home and I'll be so used to that from being on the road. You'll go to talk to a stranger in LA or something. And they're like, what the hell is wrong with you? Right. So just
Wow.
people being more open, that type of thing.
I mean, I think the surprising thing, but now it's not a surprise. Now it's just something to look forward to, is if you watch the news, you learn they're lying to you, because when you go across the country, every kind of person, all walks of life, male, female, you name it, whatever. We have met so many great people, and so many people want to tell you their story, what they're doing, and just a friendliness and goodness in this whole country. And I think around the world. So it's like people are good.
Yeah.
Can I say two things? Or
Sure.
just one?
Yeah.
You can say whatever you want.
So the first thing is when we started this, it was really to inspire people to get out and travel and see what Lance and I saw. And it's flipped on us, and we've said this 100 times if we've said it once. Like, the inspiration is coming back to us fivefold. I mean, people are coming out to ride the first time, entering the riding market, riding with their father, riding with their mother, whatever. The second thing that surprised me was last year. I had a gentleman out of Florida, Trey, reach out to me before Sturgis and talk about he has a group of African American guys that were going to plan on going to Sturgis, and they didn't know if it was comfortable for them because there was no content really shown about Sturgis and people of color. And so it shocked me that first of all, I was honored that he called. Second of all, as Lance and I were talking with him, it's like, you need to go. You're not going to have a problem. And similarly, we just had a conversation with G. By the way, they went and they had a great time. Similarly, we just had GQ on our live a couple of weeks ago, and we had this whole conversation as well. There, in certain parts of the country, there's just not a lot of content around, people of color, females riding that get shit on all the time by guys saying you can't handle that bike, you can't. And it bothers me to no degree. Like, I just don't understand why this community is so great. Why are we so poor at it sometimes? And so it was a surprise, but it was also, I think, people like GQ that are teachers of our children out there that is trying to put content out. And we don't get typically very political in those kind of things, but I'm just proud of some of those people that are taking, whether it's the Litas, whether it's GQ, whether it's people out there kind of taking the bull by the horns and trying to educate people.
2-lane life.
2-lane life as well, but I didn't really. You don't know if you're not in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just makes me proud. You guys are doing similarly. Biracial couple. Me and my wife are biracial, but it's important for people to see that the commonality is the ride and the destination and the enjoyment of that,
So
100% agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. It's been we've had a couple of those scenarios where we ran into people. And first of all, Gaylin, Lance, I think everything you guys just said is spot on. I love it that this community is, I would say, more inclusive than they're given credit for, in my opinion. I can't tell you how many times I've been around people who are of all races, creeds, and whatever, and all we're talking about is bikes. That's all we're talking about. We're not arguing about anything. We're just there, geeking out. Oh, you like motorcycles? I like motorcycles.
Yeah.
Let's talk about motorcycles. And
or the journey in, or the destination you're headed.
that's right. That's right.
did you
So
go to the 120th?
Yeah, we met.
we did. We saw you guys there. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
That's okay.
Right.
That's all
So-
right.
Slept since there. It's
People
okay.
people from all over the world were there, and everyone loved it. Everyone had a great time. We have people from so many different countries come up, and it's just awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, we were one time, Z and I, this was a few years back, we were up in the rural,
This was like when I first started writing. So this was probably 8 years ago,
Yeah.
almost.
like rural Georgia, right? Like this gas station, we were kind of pushing it and found this gas station out in the middle of nowhere. And we pull up, and the first thing that happens is there's like a congregation of people that just come walking out of all over the place. And they're like, what are those bikes? What is that? And we end up spending 30 minutes with these
Yeah.
people. And now, again, I'm not making judgments. I'm just saying they walk up, they're very country. They've got, Confederate flags on their shirts. One's wearing a General Lee hat. You kind of, maybe it's wrong of me. You immediately kind of go, okay, all right. But then they come up and they're so nice and they're so excited to see. They were actually like, look at her on that bike. I can't believe she can handle that bike.
This is the one you put on Reddit, right?
This is the one I put on YouTube where the guy told me that his dog got run over and his eyeball popped out.
Yeah.
That one. Yeah.
It's just crazy, like just at face value and based on they're lying to you, like being in the thick of it, being with these people, interacting with them and talking with them. They're just people just like we are. And I think that it was for me, it was eye-opening to see. I'm in rural Georgia where, you see there's so many things about like racism and all this other thing, segregate or like just people being rude to other people that aren't like them. And me being there with Chuck and like not even having that experience was amazing. It was one of those experiences that I'm like, you know what? You shouldn't be afraid to go out there and put yourself out there and talk to other people just because they don't look like you or they don't live the way you do. You can share something with them and they can share something with you and you can learn from all of that. So it's been fun.
I think that's what Lance was saying and what we were saying earlier when we started this is that, yeah, you may get a look or two in a small town, but if you're kind of inclusive with them as well, the stories that you get out of these people are just insane. And they need our help, quite frankly. They need tourism. They need people to come into the town and spend money in the town, whether it's gas, hamburgers, whatever it is, they need that.
Right. Agreed. So we have great mountains up here in Georgia. There's Blue Ridge, which is a city about an hour north of us. There's Suches, Two Wheels of Suches. There's a great campground there. They have a nice biker like restaurant and cafe and all of that, and then a lot of great restaurants. So we're really excited to have you guys come out here and spend time with us out here.
Yeah. What's up next for you guys? What's your next trip? Where are you going? What you doing?
We're going on a really big 2-day.
That's right.
So we're lucky here in Southern California, right? Like we can be up in the mountains in a couple of hours and then the same day be back down on the beach. But we're going to do a little mountain run up into what is called the Big Bear area.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a cool little spot. And we've got to come back down and get the shop set up so we don't have a lot of time. So this is going to be like one of our first weekend trips in years.
Yeah.
And we'll do a couple of those over the next month and a half or so, and then start planning the rides for next year and get into something a little bit deeper.
So Big Bear's a mountain resort up in the San Bernardino Mountains. So we're probably going to do 300-mile round trip, which is nothing, but we're going to go to Eagle Rider and get some footage for them, but footage for us as well. It's going to be just kind of a home Sunday afternoon, little blast. And we got a couple of those probably ahead of us.
Okay. That sounds like fun. I was born in Gardena.
Oh, okay.
But I grew up in Utah, so I like really haven't spent a ton of time in Southern California. But my brothers used to always go up to trips to Big Bear to go skiing and stuff. So I'm kind of familiar with that. So it's nice in the summertime.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
It snowed big time this year.
I forgot you grew up in Utah. Where at again?
Yeah, in West Valley City, right outside of Salt Lake.
I know where that is. I grew up in Sugar House.
That's right. We talked about this. That's right.
Right?
That's so cool.
You're way younger than I am. So
yeah. Well, I mean, we probably didn't go to high school together.
no. I graduated in '85, so you don't have to tell when you graduated. That's how old I am.
Yeah.
Did you go to Highlands?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Hail Highland High.
So one more thing back on the trip part of it. When we go to all these beautiful places all year and we look forward to all these different rides, but I personally, and I'm not going to speak for them, but I get the most excited about our run to Sturgis, because the journey to Sturgis with us at Thrashin and the fueling guy, whoever we go, we have our own little group that go every year for the last 8 years, and we have a blast. So the journey there is what makes it so stand out, and everyone goes. It's like they can plan that trip and they all go.
That's amazing.
I think that's on our plan for next year. We've had to trailer both years so far. With I'm still having to work in the corporate world, and so I only have so much time to get there and ride. And so we've trailered both times we've gone. But I really do want to ride next year.
You should. It's a fantastic thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's about 1,500 miles for us, right?
Yeah.
Right. So here's what you do. You break the bank just a little. It's not that expensive, but take your time riding there. Take four days getting there, right? Spend a couple days in Sturgis, 2 to 4 days, and then trailer the bikes home on a service.
Yeah.
Fly home.
Yeah, we actually came really close this year to flying in and having the bike shipped up. But as soon as these bikes were built, we were, we 5-month build on these bikes. We put a lot into them. And as I saw them rolling out, I was like, there's no way in hell I'm shipping those bikes.
Right.
It ain't happening.
Not to change the subject, but I'm sitting here looking at on the monitor, and I'm looking at you and Gaylin's faces with your hats on and your beards. So what you need to do is you need to put a pair of sunglasses on and do an AI of you and see if you become black guy.
That's what I'm saying.
Get Black Chuck.
Yeah.
Black Chuck.
So you'd be Black Chuck, and then we can see if it's taking the beard and the hat and the glasses and just doing that to you.
There it is.
I love that shit.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. I still couldn't believe. I tried it like 12 times. It just kept giving me different. That was the best version, by the way. There were a couple other ones that were a little rough, but that one was pretty. Yeah, yeah.
So
One of
we'll build.
you had
it
a
up.
couple of extra ears in one of them.
What?
Yeah,
And then do one of you and then Photoshop you and Gaylin standing together.
we
Right.
should do like an album cover, Gaylin. The next time we're
Yeah.
together, we're gonna do the
Chuck?
beard and glasses, take a picture, and then we'll do an album cover.
Just so you know, Chuck, I'm with it, man. Let's do it.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
right.
All right. Well, listen, guys. I know I really, really, truly appreciate you guys coming on the show tonight. I've truly enjoyed talking to you. Obviously, been following you guys for a while. Well, let me say one more thing. It's really nice when you meet people that you follow on social media, and they are who you expect them to be. And I don't mean that to be a negative thing, right? Like sometimes you meet people that you see on social media, and when you meet them, you're like, oh, that's how you are. But you guys were exactly what I expected. Genuine, caring, nice, welcoming. You've been very kind to us. When we saw you guys at the 120, put us on your show and interviewed us, and we truly appreciate that. I think we need more. We need more genuine people out there doing stuff like you guys are doing. So from our little podcast to you, thank you very much for everything you've done within this space over the last few years. We truly appreciate it.
That's,
you guys.
That's kind of you to say that, and we appreciate that. And this is Jeff G. Holt from Beach and Twin Visionary.
Yes. You know,
Okay,
Jeff.
so he always sees us and hugs us, and he always says, every time I think about what you guys are doing, he goes, I love what you guys are doing. And I get the chills. Look, he goes, look, the hair on my arms are standing up. We need people like you in this industry to be doing what you're doing. Just keep on doing it. It's like, and like Gaylin was saying earlier, it gives us this energy and drive to just get out there and just share more. Because you're right. Exactly what you said. We need more.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
we're trying to be like you when we grow up.
You guys are she didn't have to respond to my request. I mean, she didn't know who we were at the time, and it was like, and she reached out, and it was great, and so that's how it all starts. But before we leave, because we were talking about this at the 120th, I know your viewers know, but just educate us on what you did with the bikes, the two bikes that you have, just so we understand. 'Cause you can't ride up to the shop and show us.
Unfortunately, Gaylin, your audio cut out for the first time for like 5 seconds. Well,
Yeah, can you tell us about, because we knew that you were doing this at the 120th, but tell us the builds that the two of you did.
Okay. Do you want to start, C?
Yeah. So we have the 2023 Road Glides STs, and I got mine billet teal. I had it painted. Actually, you can see the design here on my skateboard. This is exactly what my bike looks like, the paint job on it. So custom, really went down to pretty much every nook and cranny with that bike. Carbon fiber wheels, carbon fiber fenders, and a 1 gauge digital gauge, mono gauge, and got the risers.
She gets so excited. You see how excited she is?
I'm like,
she's like, she can't get it fast enough.
And we have 131 engines on it with a SNS 550 cam. So
Nice.
I love it. And his is pretty much identical to mine, except for the paint job. And he has it up a +2 on the front. So his is really tall in the front.
Yeah.
With his suspension. And we went with different exhausts. And
you did the track exhaust.
I did the Trask Performance.
Yeah, and I did the D&D Bobcat. I also did a Track Dynamics swing arm. We did Legends in the back. I did 14s, and I put it in the top slot, so it's technically 15. And then I did do the +2 in the front. So I've got about 8.5 inches of clearance from the frame to the ground on that bike. So I built it specifically to be able to lean it in the corners in the mountains when I'm riding, because I got frustrated with sport bikes leaving me in the corners. I mean, I could stay with them straight away, but in the corners, they could always leave me. So I built a bike that can stay with them. Obviously, we did Memphis Shades. We did Thrashing Tree. I replaced both the trees on the bikes, put Thrashing in. We did Curtis Hoffman risers. Mine's 11, right?
Yeah.
And yours is 6 and
8.
Yeah. And then, we did a lot to these bikes, and both bikes are 150 horsepower, 160 foot-pounds of torque.
That's wild.
Yeah, I think the other thing that I really liked, the carbon fiber wheels was one of the ways that we reduced weight. Those wheels are only like 15 pounds. You know, your stock
It
stock
is.
are like what 45 pounds. So I mean, you're taking 60 pounds off the bike right there. But we reduced them to right around 700 pounds total. So
It's like a Softail.
yeah. So I mean, her Softail Lowrider S, which also had a 131 and a 550 cam, that bike was about 620 pounds. So we're really proud of the build. As a matter of fact, if you can see me, that's the design on my bike. It's kind of hard to see from here, but it's got kind of a samurai comic book / feel to it with some carbon laid into it. And then I cherry coated all my carbon with 12 coats of black. So it's
Nice.
yeah, when you're looking at it from a distance, you can't really tell that's carbon, but when you get up on it and the sun hits it, it looks really, really good.
Yeah. We wish we would have run into you guys in Sturgis, but you guys were having fun in the rain.
Yeah, y'all were killing it.
Yeah, a little bit.
A lot of rain.
Yeah.
It was. And
It's the first year that Lance and I have not gone into Sturgis proper at night. Like,
Right.
and you know, with the campgrounds being closed, the activity in Deadwood and in Sturgis just was not the same. We still had a good time, but it was a lot of rain every single day.
I like hanging out in Deadwood.
Yeah. We actually, our house was in Deadwood this year, so that was pretty fun. But when the sun went down, I don't know. I wanted to stay in. I didn't really get out into the nightlife this year either. Just with all the rain, I don't know. It was a different vibe for sure.
Yeah.
That was definitely a different Sturgis this year for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like some of the nightlife, but after a while, it's like, all right, I've seen this show before. It's time to head to the house. Starts to get
Well, I
a
know
little.
you were closing out, but talk about genuine people. There's two of you, and now we know a third. So crazy podcast. What's her?
It's
Producer.
sharing
Chaos.
Producer Chaos. Now we got a third. We know.
Yay.
Well, we can't wait to have you come ride, and thank you guys so much. Before we sign off, would you guys give everybody your social media, where people can find you, etc.?
So the website is 2LANELIFE.com. The YouTube is at 2LANELIFE. That's the number 2 LANELIFE. The Instagram, you guessed it, it's 2LANELIFE. My Instagram is 2LANE2 number 2 LANE.JAY.
Big Lance C.
At Xerox 57. Yes, like a Xerox copy machine.
Yo.
You're too young to understand that, kids out there that listen to these people. Yes.
I got
But hey, go to our website, check out some stuff. We got cool stuff and some really awesome shirts.
Where's that at?
2LANELIFE.com.
And by the way, Chuck and Z are the real deal. We love them. Give them all the support you can.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you guys. Love you
Appreciate you.
guys. And thanks for coming. Make sure to like and subscribe. Chuck and Z on YouTube. Chuck and Z on Instagram.
All right, shiny side up.
And we'll see you
Stay
down
safe,
The
the
road.
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 Yeah. I'll see you down the
That's
road.
our thing. We got to do that.
And this broadcast real quick. I might have to do that on my end.
Love it.
That's right.
Okay.